We're told healthcare is evolving, that it's being reshaped by technology, by data, by smart machines and billion-dollar investments. That the future of medicine is being built in labs, hospitals, and tech headquarters. And maybe that's true. But when you're sitting in a hospital bed, uncertain, afraid, and in pain, you're not thinking about machine learning or hospital architecture. I spent time shadowing doctors in Dubai, London, and Karachi. But what stayed with me was not the machines or the buildings, the location or the fancy tests. It was the moments in between. It was the way a doctor spoke to a patient, the way he paused before a diagnosis, the way he listened. It was a human part of healthcare, the kind that doesn't make headlines, doesn't show up in funding reports, and doesn't need an upgrade every 6 months. So here's the question. Are we starting to forget an essential element in healthcare? Because what I learned watching doctors in 3 very different countries is no matter how advanced the machines, no matter how big the hospitals, the most important part of healthcare isn't found in an algorithm or behind a screen. It's the doctor's attention, the patient's trust, the human connection. While shouting a rare disease geneticist and pediatrician in Pakistan, he said something I'll never forget. Time stops when a patient enters a room. He didn't say it like a metaphor. He meant it as a rule, a way of being. Because when someone walks into that room, scared, sick, vulnerable, they aren't just another case to him. They are a human being holding the weight of fear in their chest and hope in their eyes. And to the doctor, that moment deserved complete attention. Undivided, unhurried. Because even in a packed clinic, even in a broken system, the doctor believed that the patient deserved more than just care. They deserved presence. You may be asking how. How did he show that kind of presence? Sometimes it was as simple and as powerful as never looking at the watch on his wrist or glancing at the clock ticking on the wall. Not because he had all the time in the world. He didn't. But because to him, even looking at the watch on his wrist sent a message to the patient, a signal that time was more important than their story, that something else mattered more than them. And so he never did it. And I remember standing there, struck, because in that moment, surrounded by noise, heat, and chaos, I saw something extraordinary. It was the most powerful thing I've seen in healthcare, and it reminded me, we're so busy trying to build the future of medicine, we might be forgetting the heart of it. The hospitals I saw in London and Dubai were filled with every imaginable technology. There were machines that could monitor, scan, and predict. But sometimes, even with all that advancement, I didn't feel the connection I had seen in Pakistan. Doctors moved from patient to patient with practice efficiency, and it felt like the human moments were squeezed in. This made me realize something important. Connection isn't automatic. It's not built into technology or comfort. It's a choice a doctor makes in every moment, no matter where they are. And that choice, that presence, is what truly defines good healthcare. I was lucky to have the opportunity to shadow an interventional radiologist in London. I remember one procedure, a young woman having a small piece of tissue removed from a possible tumor from her underarm. The doctor explained what would happen, calmly, efficiently, with remarkable clarity. She nodded along, but her eyes kept drifting upwards, like there was something she wanted to ask, but didn't quite know how. The doctor paused, just for a second. He didn't rush, but he didn't linger either. He gave her a reassuring look, said, "You're in good hands," and returned back to the screens. And it was true. She was in good hands. But I couldn't stop wondering what might have happened if there had been 5 more seconds. A little more space. Not for the medicine, but for the moment. It wasn't that the doctor didn't care. He did, deeply. You could see it in the precision of his work and the way he treated every case like it mattered. But the system didn't give him room for more than that. Because in hospitals like this, which are clean, efficient, technology advanced, presence can become a luxury. Something rare, something optional, something that only fits in if there's time. And more often than not, there isn't. What I'm trying to say is this. In London hospitals, machines are everywhere, part of every step, every moment. They help with the process, but sometimes they can take over. And the human connection? Well, it's still there, but it's quieter, harder to feel. In Pakistan, it's different. Less technology, fewer machines, and so everything falls on the doctor. Their care, their compassion, their presence. And that human connection between the doctor and patient in Pakistan isn't just part of the process. It is the process. So, I've talked about my experience, about what I've seen in hospitals, the power of presence, and how deeply I believe in the importance of human connection in healthcare. But let's zoom out for a moment. Let's look at what's actually happening in the world. Healthcare is being reimagined through innovation. Billions of dollars are being poured into AI diagnostics, digital health startups, wearable technology, and so much more. By 2030, the healthcare technology industry is expected to grow to over $200 billion globally. And that's incredible. AI can help detect diseases earlier, wearables can monitor patients in real time, technology is saving lives, expanding access, and improving outcomes. But here's the catch. While machines are getting smarter, the people who actually deliver care, doctors, nurses, frontline staff, are getting left behind. In many places, doctors' salaries have fallen even as demands on them grow. Burnout is at an all-time high. Up to 50% of doctors report symptoms of chronic stress, yet less than 5% of healthcare investment supports the workforce. And this is where the cycle begins. We see an overburdened system, and so we invest in machines, in tools, in anything we help that will carry the weight. But we don't ask why the weight is there in the first place. What's really causing the strain? And as more pressure builds in this system, fewer people want to step into it. Aspiring doctors see the burnout, the exhaustion, the stress, and walk away. Applications to medicine fall, and the workforce shrinks even more. And once again, we turn to the machines, expecting them to fix what is at its core a human problem. This is a cycle, and it keeps turning. Not because we don't care, but because we're looking in the wrong direction. So the constant in all three places I witnessed healthcare, Dubai, London, Karachi, were the doctors. So why aren't we focusing on them as much as we should? Here's a concern. If we keep moving in this direction of investing in machines but neglecting the humans who use them, we risk creating a future of medicine that is precise, efficient, and profoundly disconnected. We cannot algorithm our way to empathy. We cannot outsource presence. We cannot forget the most important part of healthcare has never been a machine. It's always been a person. But here's the hope and here's the opportunity. What if we chose to invest not in just tools, but in time? Not just in buildings, but in people? What if we reimagine healthcare systems that protect the doctor's attention as fiercely as they protect patient data? Because when we give doctors time to be doctors, when we give patients space to be heard, when we make room for connection, we don't just fix the system, we begin to heal it. And that is a future of medicine worth building. So I ask, as an industry and as a society, what are we doing to allow doctors to create moments where time stops for their patients? Thank you for listening.